Let's get it.
Hello, everybody. What's up to everyone in the chat? This is Sister Lives we have Sarah from Reality Squad. And James will not let me announce him because he has left the building here. Though, if you came here early, we do apologize. Yeah, we're still figuring out some tech issues here. So hoping James gets back in soon. Today we are discussing some, again, there's so many early epic episodes, but today we're doing the first Christmas episodes that the show ever does.
Mm-hmm.
This is season 2, episodes 7 and 8. And here is James. There we go.
What's going on?
How you doing, James?
Doing well. Ooh.
I just wanted to address one comment. Share Bear said, is anyone following Cody's nephew on TikTok? I am. I'm going to have a video on what he's been talking about tomorrow. But I had a thought, you guys. What if they opened up like Sister Wives? Like, because obviously the show's going to have to pivot. And, you know, we saw like some of Christine's siblings. What if we started seeing like extended family on the show? If like Robin and Cody aren't participating or are only here and there, how would you guys receive that?
Uh,
That just popped into my mind like 2 minutes before we came on there.
Go ahead, James.
Well, I think it would have to be interesting. Like, I just don't think that there's enough meat on the bone for the fandom to just watch people because they're loosely associated with the Brown family. Like, it has to be, and I think that to a point, like, we tune into the show because roughly the show is about polygamy. So the question is, are they going to transition the show away from the idea or concept of the big family and try to move it to individual stories, in which case it becomes a completely different show. And I'm not sure where their fortunes lie in that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, sometimes it works. Like, you have MTV to switch from a music platform that they don't do music videos anymore. They do like reality shows and production shows, but they don't hardly do music anymore. So some studios can pull it off, but I don't know if the Brown family fan base is really strong enough, or if the interest is there for them to watch other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well said, James. Well said. And glad to have you back on the stream with your guitar behind you. I do expect you to do an electronic version of the Brown the show's theme song. It would just be 2 notes. It would be like do 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 do.
Yeah, right. Anything horror genre will work.
Okay. First Christmas episodes of the show. Very memorable episodes. Them renting this cabin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What did you think of these 2 episodes as a whole? Good episodes? Medium? Bad?
This is where I can see TLC kind of having that hard conversation. Do we continue this show or do we just let it go? You know, because there were interesting points in it per usual, especially if you put it in the scope of where we are now to looking back at it. Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting to see where they were to where they are now. But at the time, it's kind of like watching them out there just frolic in the snow and having a good time and pretend like they're evading the police. Like, it kind of gave me that the Garrick, I used to be a gang leader vibe. Like, you are not a criminal.
ATK, what's up?
All thugging all the time. Like, come on, man. That sounds like a phone playing. That doesn't sound like a criminal organization that we should all be in fear of. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. I said they're the Christmas episodes, but really they're like what number, like 4 or 5 in their build up to like I don't know, exaggerating or pretending or whatever they're doing. Like, am I crazy? Is this the episode where, yeah, the first one in 7, like a cop turns around in Mary's driveway and it's like a plot line in the episode.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you serious?
Yeah. These episodes actually made me sad a little bit. There was a point where I think Garrison was talking about like how awesome Christmas is or something, like with their family, like the way they do Christmas, and Mary like acknowledges like what an amazing thing Garrison said was. I forget what he said in particular, but that I was like, oh, that was a little like to the chest, you know? And then also just how focused on this sibling gift exchange. We got a lot of them focused on that, and to know that that ultimately is kind of the catalyst for total destruction come season 18, it's like, oh man, like this is real sad, guys.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, go ahead, James.
just something I noticed was when Mary went out and she noticed that the police were outside her house, and she said, I saw the cops. I was washing my dishes and I saw the police pull into my driveway. And I thought, oh no, it's going down, son. And then the cops turn around, they pull out the driveway. And then Mary, being the established criminal that she is, decides to walk out and find out where the cops went. Like that's the first thing you don't do. Like, where'd they go? Like that's like the lady in the horror movie. Like, I heard a noise in the basement. I'm gonna go check it out. Well, I guess we won't be seeing you in the sequel. Like,
No,
you know what I mean?
James.
Like, so,
What do you think everybody in Oklahoma does when there's a tornado? We run out to the front porch. I want to see the tornado. It's like,
I want to see the whirlwind.
No, I think Mary would like Karen, the non-emergency cop line, and just be like, excuse me, like a cop just turned is this in any way to do with the fact that we're polygamous? Like, are you guys coming after us?
I mean, we're breaking the law, committing felonies. And I just want to know if the police are here for us yet. Like,
yeah.
She's like, I dialed 311, but they blocked me. So now I just have to dial 911.
Right. Yeah, can I speak to your manager? That would have been awesome. That would have been
awesome. Well, before we get into they kind of go back and forth, both of these episodes, between, it's like two parallel plot lines that are like, to me, poorly weaved together, but I guess because everybody's sad at Christmas, they have to explain why everybody's sad at Christmas. But before we get to the initial scary, they're going to arrest us thing, is Mary putting on the Christmas lights on the house with Leon helping. And I just was like, classic Mary.
If that doesn't speak to Cody's lack of just anything, he's not giving dad, he's not giving, like, not even for your kids would you get up on the roof and put up some Christmas lights, like, right. Not even for your wife. Like, you look like a straight up loser, dude. Like, I'm sorry.
Well, it gets real bad if one of them go down. Like, if one of them come off the roof, then you look like an asshole in the emergency room. Well, where were you? Well, I was watching the game. But at the same time, in fairness, and I hate to be this guy, but in fairness to Cody, if you're leaving, do you really have to? Isn't that important for you to decorate the house? And I damn sure wouldn't be getting on the roof. I might have hung a wreath on the door and called it a day. Like, I'm not gonna be here anyway. What difference does it make? I'm gonna put up the Christmas tree and decorate it, and then we're gonna leave for 3 weeks. Come back in time so I can take it down. No, I'm good.
That makes me wonder, how long do you two think they were at the cabin for? Like a week, couple days? I mean, you're right. If it was more than a week, like, that was useless to put the Christmas lights on.
How many truckloads did they bring? They had like a lot of stuff. So I want to say at least a few days. I feel like they were hauling groceries at one point. Like, I feel like I saw a thing of ramen. I'm not sure, but it had to have been a few days, at least.
At least. Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they packed like they were going for weeks.
Oh,
like, they weren't coming back for months.
4 days at the cabin.
Oh, okay.
Plus, when you're packing Christmas, I mean, oh my gosh. Literally, one present a person comes and we'll open the rest at home. Sorry to ruin anyone's Christmas.
Seems reasonable.
Unless, of course, the cops are here, in which case we can't come back no more. Like,
Yeah.
and then
No.
also my favorite part is when Robin is sitting there saying like, well, you know, I have 7 presents for each of them. Like, how you gonna be the broke one? Talk about you got 7 gifts for everybody. Like what? I'm like, whoa. We're not doing that. We taking something back. I hope you got receipts or gift receipts or something.
Wait, was that Robin who said that?
Yeah. She said I got 7 presents for each of them because I wanted to give them something special. So I got them each 7 presents. I'm like, what the shit? Like,
Oh,
you're the
wow.
broke one. You don't have a job.
That is crazy.
Where you getting the money from?
I was too busy taking notes about like homemade ornaments for kids. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's what you make your parents.
I also did notate the quality of Mary's pajamas because I don't think I ever appreciated it before, but we had some gals were in nightgowns. They kind of look like hospital gowns. Then some kids were in like a top pant, but it was like a capri short sleeve shirt combo. Logan got like those look like JC Penney flannels. I feel like they were like, you know what, Logan, you do the most. We'll buy you your pajamas.
Okay, but the best are for sure Dayton's NASCAR PJs, right?
Yes.
Right.
The
Those
choice
were
of
good.
fabrics that people got, I was like, ooh, I know who Mary likes and who she hates.
Oh, let's see. Okay, just so much to talk about. Okay, Christmas tree shopping. Another to me. First of all, I know I'm not trying to make. I never want to like dog other than maybe Garrick on or Cody too much on people's normal looking dude, the Christmas tree seller guy. But he's wearing like the cousin Eddie from Christmas Vacation getup, and the women are just like, "Oh, I'm so moist from this Christmas tree
Yeah,
seller." Like, and I'm not that good a judge. Like, is this guy that hot, Sarah?
I didn't even note that, like, Idris Elba, he was not, because I did not. It was not a memorable moment for me. So.
But did you catch them like swooning for him?
Yeah, but it kind of makes me think like any display of masculinity, these women turn to mush because they just don't get that.
Right.
He cut
Like-
down a 3-foot tree. Oh my goodness.
Like he's not exactly a lumberjack, but he may as well be compared to Cody.
Right.
Good point.
Well, you know what? I mean, I can't really talk about like whether the ladies would go crazy on him. I can only speak from a reference of would I be nervous if like my lady was going over to get a Christmas tree? Would I be like, oh shit, no, you not? We going together. Like you know what I mean? I would be nervous about dude, but at the same time, I think that it also plays a part in location. Location is key because you could be a New York 3 might be a Utah 10. So I don't know. Maybe that's the thing too. Like he might be killing them
all
down
the
there.
Utah people.
I know the
watching
Utah
this.
people firing it up. Like just F you. I'm just saying, like he might be down there firing it up. There might be some Utah people like you don't understand how hot the Christmas tree dude is because Christmas man ring twice or whatever. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
first of all, they found a dude that they probably weren't related to. So, like,
Right.
automatic win.
Jackpot.
Right.
That is a Utah 10.
He ain't
Oh,
cousin of nothing.
Sorry, Utahnians.
Right.
oh God.
We ain't got to worry about third arms and none of that.
Lisa says he has tree shucking gloves. That makes all the ladies' milkshakes come to the yard or something.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Get y'all hot and bothered.
He's like driving mittens or whatever he has that he's always wearing.
You're right.
I just couldn't get over the hat. I just thought he was gonna I was gonna be seeing him emptying the shitter in the driveway or something.
But I do say that, like, the weird part about it was how openly they flirted with him. Like they were going out of their way because it wasn't like I get it. Like everybody kind of does it. Like you might give somebody a little smile a little too long, or you kind of make eye contact. It is what it is. People are people, but like they were like acting like they trying to get it. You know what I mean? Not part of my vernacular, but that's the way they were kind of approaching it. Like they were open for business. Like if I was a tree dude, I'd be like, oh, I got 3 biddies trying to scoop me up and trying to get these digits. Like, you know what I mean? Like you would be excited. Like, okay, I'm going to work because apparently this tree thing is paying off. Forget college.
I think he was, because he was like, I will find you the tiniest piece of mistletoe for you, ma'am. I will,
Right.
You know what? I just found some in my butt. You know what? It fell back there when I was loading trees. Here you go. You can't see it, but it's there.
Yeah, then the whole conversation about mistletoes and like kissy balls or something. I never heard of the second thing. Like, yeah, you gonna kiss some balls? Like, I was just like, I don't know. Well, pause on that. But you understand what I mean? Like, it was weird. Like, they were heavy on them. They were trying to get it. So, and I kind of begs the question: were they the only ones, or was it like a line of women just standing there waiting for the tree man to give them service? Like, how does it work?
Is this the like lonely housewife tree lot or something?
Right,
like,
right.
Is this dude's claim to fame?
Yeah, TLC dropped the ball. TLC, if you watching, y'all dropped the ball because you could have had the Desperate Housewives of Treescape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Amazing.
They might not come, but they leave. You understand what I mean? Like, it would have been crazy.
The TLC Housewives show would be called Desperate Housewives of Tree. That's totally.
Of Treeville. Yeah, right.
I was just gonna do it at Desperate Housewives, and like halfway through that joke, I was like, "No, there's a show called Desperate Housewives, isn't there? Like a drama."
Yeah, the Utah version. You know how they have like was it NCIS all over the place, CSI all over the place. They could have had, Desperate Housewives in Utah. And that'd be like every house.
We get a segment where it kind of starts out with Robin talking about assimilating into her family, and we already kind of talked about her making the gifts, the ornaments, and then we kind of get like what each mom contributes around Christmas. And then it's in this segment that we also get them talking about Christine starting the tradition of having all the older girls in the family make breakfast. And I know that's gotten a little bit of discussion over the years. What are y'all's thoughts on these segments? Do you remember what they were? Do we need to talk out the details of the specific contributions? We already said like Mary does the pajamas. I didn't write anything down about Janelle.
Well,
Did Janelle
I know
even
that Robin did the ornaments.
Mm-hmm.
What did Janelle do?
I think this was the part where she was like, I do nothing. I don't know. Christine was
Janelle was like, I
"No."
paid a mortgage.
Yeah.
I mean, fair.
Yeah, I paid a bill. So y'all go ahead and take care of that little bit of stuff. You put your junk in the house that I paid for. Congratulations.
Good point.
Yeah. I think that I will say this. We didn't have I don't have any girl siblings, so I don't have a sister. I do have a brother, and my mother had insisted that both my brother and I learn to cook because boys have to eat too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so in a weird way, we saw like the first episode where Logan would get up and make breakfast for the girls. Maybe Logan was getting a break. That's why they don't do the oldest boys, because he's already cooking every day. So why is he what's the difference on Christmas? I got to cook on Christmas too. I'm already cooking throughout the year for the younger siblings. But if anything, boys need to learn to cook too. There's nothing wrong with the kids as a unit making food for the family and kind of crossing those, I guess, gender lines or whatever. But I mean, I guess that's their way of trying to stay old fashioned, but it's a little played out. And it's all about survival, baby, because like my mom said, James, it's a new world. You ain't going to find a woman who's going to work a full day and come home and cook you a meal. So you need to learn to cook for yourself, player. Come on in and get it. So that's just the way we did it. Now I pretty much cook in my house. Like, you know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you the cook in your family, Sarah?
Yes.
Why did you laugh? James just did this whole spiel about how the man could be the cook.
So my husband is the cleaner. He like does the dishes. He cleans or he is far more organized than I am. But I am very particular about laundry and cooking. So it's kind of like he knows, like, just to back away from those. Because, like, he'll offer, because I'll be like, oh my God, there's so much laundry to do. And he'll be like, do you want me to do? I'm like, no. Like, why do you hate me?
Speaking of, Christian M says nobody wants teenage boys cooking for them. Y'all ever watched one? They will straight up scratch their butt and touch toast. No thanks.
Ooh,
Oh man, somebody's got to stick up for the teenage boys here.
not in my house.
Fair.
Not my house. But well, I'll say this: like, I have a rule. Like, as far as my house is concerned, like, I have just a general rule. Whatever you're good at, you do that thing. If you're good at cooking, if you're honest with yourself, be like, you know what, you make delicious food. I make charcoal. Then that person who makes delicious food gets to cook.
We all have our gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're good at cleaning, and then knock it out, player. I can knock.
Everyone can learn to scrub a dish. So
Right.
like, not all of us are gifted with like cooking. I mean, I can follow a recipe. I'm no like Gordon Ramsay or anything, but like I firmly believe anybody could learn to scrub a dish.
Oh, totally.
Right.
Totally.
Well, if you can eat off it, you can scrub it. So
Yes.
everybody can contribute.
Agreed. So as they're packing up, as we mentioned before, there's like Janelle calls it enough for an army. Christine and Cody get in a fight on camera, and I'm trying to find my place in my notes, but I was like pretty offended at the way Cody treated Christine. I remember, he says, "I don't like you right now." And I know that for a while, I feel like I heard other couples would like say that out loud in public. "I don't like you right now." But I just watching this scene, it felt so mean. What? You don't like her? She's your wife. Like, you're saying this in front of the kids? What did you two think of this?
It's so obvious to me that but it wasn't obvious to me back then, but it's so obvious looking back with like 2024 hindsight that he harbors this animosity towards Christine that is so unfair. It's like anything that goes wrong in his day, it's like Christine's fault. And it's wildly disproportional to what, like, I mean, not that she deserves any of it, but like, okay, if she like genuinely did something that like pissed him off, okay, like have that conversation. But it just seems always blown way out of proportion for what is actually the issue.
Right.
Yeah, did they say in the scene? Oh, sorry, go ahead, James.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to wonder, did you two notice in the scene what does the camera show?
I just remember from like last week when they're pissed off. He gets pissed off because Christine didn't have the boys shovel Robin's walkway when Christine has one son. So was she supposed to round up Janelle's kids too? And it seemed like, why is she bearing the brunt of you getting frustrated that your sons didn't do this when she's only had one of your sons?
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, your son not cleaning your other wife's house. Like, so he got mad at Christine in that episode. He was mad at Christine for not having his sons, let's call it what it is, his sons clean his other wife's house who just walked past him. So he could have looked at Robin and said, "Robin, where the boys at? They should have been out here cleaning the house up." Because you, as a mom and authority, you could have called over to Janelle's house and had them shake their asses over here and clean this up instead of me out here slipping and sliding. That's what I'd have said. I'm out here slipping and sliding, about to bust my ass in the snow. And where they at in the house drinking hot cocoa? This is bullshit. Like, but what the argument was, from what I recall, what the comment was that Christine had said, he had asked Christine, "Where is Mary and Janelle?" And Christine, being snarky, said, "I don't know. Maybe I should read their minds. I haven't learned how to do that yet," which isn't a bad joke. You know, it's not, because she could have said so much worse. Like, let me say, you know what I mean? Let me stand up, see if if they're up my ass or whatever, because I have no idea where they are. What are you asking me for? You know, it's not my turn to watch them. Like, I get that. Like, there's a whole litany of things that she could have said that she didn't say. And he got all bent out of shape about her making that comment. But I think a lot of it isn't necessarily the comment that she made that had him all upset. I think the reason why he's upset with Christine in particular is because she resisted Robin coming into the family so strongly. And because she's going against something that he wants, all of a sudden you're trying to derail the whole family. How am I derailing a family that I'm a part of, you jackass? Like, you know what I mean? I've been here. Like, I've been doing work. I've been putting, like, this is the gang. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is that Garrett gang. I've been doing work for the organization this whole time. Now you going to turn your back on me for the new booty. Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? That's not, where's the loyalty at? And especially, ironically, he talks about loyalty in seasons 16, 17, and 18, about nobody being loyal. This is a sign of loyalty. If you turn your back on people who've been riding with you the whole time, and then all of a sudden you get a new friend and you lose touch with all your old friends who put you in that position where you can make that new friend, then you have no loyalty. Just saying.
That's a good point. I surely this must have been said before, if anything by you, James, but like, yeah, he harps so much on loyalty. What about the loyalty to his like original wives that he had for what was it, like 15 years before Robin came into the picture? No, it was like 20 years, wasn't it? I don't know.
It's 16. He was married to Christine for 16 years before Robin came into the family. So I guess married 19 years because I think they were together.
You don't got any loyalty to Mary?
Oh yeah, because season 1 is they're celebrating their 20th anniversary.
Yep.
Right.
Mary and Cody.
Yeah, Cody is such a hypocrite and projecting hardcore in his last few seasons. Good point, James. Mm-hmm. And also kind of related to the point you just made, I did take note. I was super annoyed when they cut to a confessional, and the previous episodes we watch are talking about how great they Cody handles the responsibility. He's like super dad. And in this episode, we have Robin standing up for Cody in confessional about how, he has so much weight on his shoulders with all the 16 kids, and he's just got so much pressure and he should be allowed to lead. I mean, that's kind of later, I think. But anyways, I was like annoyed with Robin during this segment.
Yeah,
I think I know what you're talking about. It was Christine. So Christine is like saying the quiet part out loud. I feel like she's kind of taking it on the chin for what Mary and Janelle are also feeling. None of the kids want to move. Chris and probably Mary and Janelle don't want to move either, but nobody is saying that except for Christine. She's sitting there being like, oh, you just like are so happy to like pick up and move the kids and all this stuff. And, Robin's there like shaking her head like, no. He's such a good guy. He's such a good dad. And it's like, hold it, new girl. Nobody rang your buzzer.
Right. And I think that there's also a point too, when they were talking about moving, clearly Robin isn't as invested in the Lehigh house as the other wives because she just showed up. She don't even live in the damn house. She live around the corner.
Right.
Like, so it doesn't matter to her that, okay, we're going to move to Vegas around the corner from my dad. We just happen to be going to Vegas, but we could go to Montana, Wyoming, or any one of the other places where polygamists live. We just going to go to the place where there aren't any polygamists anywhere around. But, we'll put that aside.
Except for my dad.
Right, except for my dad. You know what I mean? My dad and my mom. And my dad prefers my mom, so I guess you'll figure that out. But even with that being said, like when Christine makes that point, Robin, like to Amanda's point, Robin takes it upon herself because Christine was saying how tough this decision is for all of them and how much weight is on all of the wives' shoulders. All the adults are bearing this brunt of this decision and what they're going to do and how they're going to deal with the kids, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And Robin says, no, you don't have to deal with all this. Cody is dealing with this all by himself because he's the man and he's the leader and he's the only one who's really feeling the weight of this true decision because he is our leader. And this is where it got into that lane of what I always call TLC, the polygamy propaganda program, because she's trying to hold it out that Cody's this outstanding, thoughtful, genuine leader when he proves later, I think that Amanda might even bring it up, but he proves later that he doesn't give a damn what any of these other people think. And that to me demonstrates his poor preparedness as far as being a leader.
Yep. And again, we're both jumping ahead, but screw it. Yeah, Christine in that part of the episode, I think it might be episode 8, says, "But how are you considering my point of view if you're just going to do whatever you
Right.
want no matter what?" She says it so
Right.
innocently. It's like almost a funny line, and he looks at her like are you questioning me? Yeah, so
I
he
don't
doesn't
give
care
a
about them.
shit. Like that's what I got from it.
Yep.
I disagree, Cody. I don't think we should move. I don't care because this is what I decided to do.
Yep.
And I said before that I thought that there's a hint of Hunter being angry with them moving and like the way he was acting in later episodes after they got to Las Vegas, and he seemed to be really angry with Janelle and Cody. And even in the book, Sister Wives Becoming Sister Wives book, she talks about how Christine, thank God for Christine, because Christine was able to smooth things over with Hunter and bridge that gap. I think that there's a part of this dynamic where if you look at it, her kids might have really been angry with Janelle because as we kind of talked about it today, if Janelle is bringing in the majority of the money, there is no move if Janelle says we're not moving. So in order for them to be able to move from Lehigh up to Las Vegas, we can't forget Janelle had to cash in her 401k in order for them to leave Lehigh to go to Vegas. So if the kids know about this and they're aware of that, they're like, "Mom, you're financing the ruination of my teen years." And I'm going to be angry about it. And I think that's why she received such strong backlash against the move from her kids.
Interesting. Very interesting. I just from what we talked about at the beginning. Sorry, I just randomly was wondering. The Cody's nephew, Sarah, is he's like an influencer now, right? He has has he developed a following?
He has like I think over 100,000 followers on TikTok, which I think is like pretty substantial. What's interesting is so I interviewed him back in February and I showed him a few clips from the show. He was I would go so far as to say defensive of Cody. Like he didn't excuse Cody's behavior, but he kind of qualified the reason why Cody is the way he is. And he also made it very apparent that like the community they come from, the religion that they come from is responsible for like why Cody is the way he is. That's actually what I gleaned from the interview. But it seems like now that he has committed to actually watching the show, that's kind of going out the door. He kind of mentioned that in this last TikTok I saw of his. I don't know if it was his most recent TikTok, but he gives his thoughts on season 1, episode 1. And he compares a lot of what he's seeing to like how he actually grew up. Especially he talks about Cody liking the idea of having a bunch of kids but never put in the work to like be a dad, and I thought that was like really perceptive. So it's really interesting.
Okay, cool. And also I kind of wanted to get your thoughts at the end, both of you, on like timeline for season 19, because he's also talking about that too, right?
Yeah, which makes me think if he's in the know, like I don't know how in the know he was before about.
Is this Benjamin? Sorry, I just want to clarify for everybody watching. Okay,
Benjamin Brown, who is the son of Scott Brown, who is Cody's older brother, and apparently via Ben, he is like super like Ben called Cody his liberal uncle when I interviewed him. So right. Just to put things in perspective for how he grew up, he said that he always viewed Cody even before the show as like very progressive and more accepting than other people in their community were.
Okay. Thank you, Elizabeth Big. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Elizabeth says, "Hey, big fan from Sydney. Love you guys. Thank you so much for the love."
Yeah, right.
Shout
More
out
sweets.
Australia. Okay, let's see. So let's get into some of the kind of more funny, lighthearted parts of the cabin. They get to the cabin and it is a SHIT show. Just how many loads do you two think they have to? They can only get one vehicle up there and they've got 1 million people and 1 million people's stuff. And it's
Right.
Christmas. How many trips? What are we talking? 20?
Well, so I guess I didn't really pay attention. How many cars went up there? Because they had that
Well, oh, you mean total to get them
Of-
to the
of
city or whatever.
stuff. Yeah, that they had to like
Oh,
shuttle it eventually over. Like,
I'm guessing at least 5.
yeah. So it was a lot of stuff. Cody looked annoyed.
Well, how about the fact that, like, I have a couple things to say about this. Like, one, it really struck me that I guess in fairness, I'm more of a beach guy than a mountains guy. So off the top, that's kind of where I am. But if I heard, like, just me, if I heard that there's going to be a storm up in the mountains and it's going to be ice and you could get snowed in and you go slide back down the mountain on your car or whatever, that's probably not the time I'd be like, you know what, we only have 10 minutes to get up there, guys, and we're about 5 minutes too late. Like, what the shit? Like, if it's that bad, why wouldn't you start earlier? That's the first thing. We can go on and on about that. But the other thing that I noticed, talking about the cars, how strange is it? As much as Cody talked about loving that white Lexus convertible and how he loved it so much and it was his favorite car and it was so important to him and how special it was, you notice as soon as it was time for the snow to hit, this mother was in the damn Tahoe 4x4, the biggest, heaviest car they had with the 4x4 traction. And he left his wives and his kids to drive in the 2 rear-wheel drive called Death Machine. I have a car like that. I had a sports car like, no, well, not like the Lexus, but I had a Camaro that was very similar. And I'm telling you right now, great car if it's a clear, sunny day. They drive like shit if you are driving on snow, ice, or rain. They're just horrible cars. Camaros, Mustangs, any rear-wheel drive, especially if they have a lot of power in the back. Like you're fishtailing all over the place. And speaking of fishtailing, I'm watching Cody with a trailer hitched to the back of his Tahoe, slip sliding and fishtailing his way up a damn mountain. Are you insane? Why do you want to get in a car accident? You came all this way. You're going to take the only vehicle that could possibly get you and your family out of this hellhole, this icy grave, and you're going to tear it up on a pole because you're trying to be cool for the cameras. So, yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch.
I mean, James, let's talk about, I know we're going to have fun and we all love it and it's the best part of the episodes, but like, what about the safety factor of sledding into a house and then being like, let's build a ramp so that we go, we're more likely to, and like, I was like, I don't know that anybody's thinking of the safety factor here. Maybe Janelle, but she's like, oh, well.
Mary's like, she didn't go through the window. Like, Hunter's like, hey, Mary. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa.
Well, my favorite part of that whole scenario is first, like you said, we're going to, instead of us sliding down this hill on a sled and then running into a snow mountain or a snow wall, we're going to turn the snow wall into a ramp so that way when we hit the wall, we get a little airborne and that way we get a little height with it.
Yeah.
The other part of it that kind of jacked me up was I watched Cody's dumbass out there trying to knock the ice off the roof. This isn't your house. This isn't your house. If there's ice up there.
Janelle was very observant. Like, these are like knives of like icicles that are hanging down. Like, it can hurt someone, kill someone.
Right.
And you're trying to just like knock these down.
And in fact, icicles kill on average about 15 people a year. I looked it up. Right.
More than toasters.
People. Right. And then I have like in some cases back then, at the time they were filming the show, over 500,000 people per year would go to the hospital because these damn things would come off a roof. And he's out there trying to knock it down with a shovel, standing on a sloped roof, trying to knock down on a sloped, icy roof, trying to knock down chunks of ice. And then when the ice starts falling, he's like, I'm safe because I'm on the side. He hits it, and just like pure comedy, all of a sudden the ice chunk come down and hit him in the head. I'm like, that could have been the end of Cody. We could be doing the funeral march for walking down the damn hill off this episode. Then he knocks it down. And if you notice, I say all that to say this. If you notice, where they built the ramp was right under where the damn ice was still on the roof. So he already knocked off a big, huge chunk of it. So you know it's coming down. So they send Mary down the hill. She jumps the damn ice thing, hits the wall, which could have shook the roof. And that damn thing could have came down on her. And that would have been the end of Mary.
I actually didn't notice that. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead, James.
It's insane.
I didn't
and the
know.
last.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. This is the last thing that I'll say. Because this whole thing was just like, what the shit are we doing? Because I did a lot of reckless shit when I was a kid. When I was a kid, though, like, you know, before there was parkour, I was running and jumping off of big walls and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Just rolling. Because I took karate and stuff. Do a keto roll, and that way you can just keep running. It'd be awesome. And we used to do stuff like that. Now, I'm walking down one step at a time because, you know, this is like what I call the tear tab. When you're a kid, you do a lot of reckless shit. And you think you're fine because you get up and you walk away. But you don't realize that you building up a tab, and when you get older, you're going to feel all that. You put it kind of on layaway, you know? And Mary runs into the house, and I've never seen, like, if you run and you jump and you hit something, usually like, boom, and you jump up like, yeah, woo, that was awesome. If you notice, when she went that jump and she hit that wall, it was quiet. Everybody. Everybody like, oh shit, Mary dead.
She got her what is it, like her clock rung or whatever the saying is?
Yeah. And she was in trouble. Mary was in trouble. She was trying to, that was awesome. No, it wasn't. I've been hurt before. That shit knocked a pause to the ass. Like, she had a pause. She was like, I could have died. I could have died.
Teresa actually makes a really good point about the ambulance. So remember, like, a couple years ago when Jeremy Renner got ran over by his snowplow and he like legitimately almost died. They had a really difficult time, the EMTs, getting to him because of the weather and the conditions of the road. So yeah, you're out there like fucking around, like, and you're not thinking like all these other people that are gonna have to come save you are gonna put their lives in danger to come save you.
Right. Or as we like to say, you're at the intersection of fuck around and find out.
I mean, Jeremy Renner was trying to do like a nice thing. He was trying to be like a good neighbor and like plow the road because he had this big plow, and then he just had like a really scary freak accident. But you think like these people are out here sledding, say someone sustains a head injury. Oh my goodness.
Well, here once again, this is kind of like what I was saying earlier about Mary on top of the roof. This is the part where you have to say to yourself, what is the emergency room conversation going to sound like? Especially if it's one of the babies. Like, you sitting there trying to explain to the doctor, yeah, you know, my wife, she broke both her legs because we were sliding down the icy hill and she did a jump on a ramp that I made.
Yeah.
And the whole time the doctor's like, how old are you?
Yeah, you would think it would have been not Cody's idea, but actually that matches him. Everything we know about him, right? We go back a little bit to the topic for so that the teens can talk to us in a confessional. We go back to the moving topic, and I took note that Logan literally says, "I've got a lot of loose ends to tie up."
This kid had to grow up way before. He just turned 30.
Right.
Wow.
This kid has been a parent since he was like 10 years old. It's so sad.
Yeah. And he was like so serious. He's like, I have a lot of loose ends. And I believed him. And I was like, that's so sad.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he was talking like he had to close down businesses.
Yeah.
He had to put
Yeah.
his affairs in order. What affairs does he have at like 15 years old?
Seriously.
Well, yeah.
We get Robin saying, quote, I felt like I was in Christine and Mary's kitchen. And then she says, I should assert myself more. And then I wrote for my own narration, well, she would go on to literally never stop asserting herself.
Yeah.
Right.
In all
Well,
in
she-
all aspects except for, I don't know if Robin ever cooked a meal. Wasn't she in charge of like the pickle tray or something? Like condiments? Like when they were doing the turkey last season or whatever season it was with the savory turkey and then Mary's turkey, she was saying how she's usually in charge of like condiments or something.
Yeah, it was
Right,
something
right.
like that.
Well, because even with that, there was like some rumor that that turkey was bought. Like that turkey was store bought. You know how they make the turkeys or whatever. So she didn't even make the damn turkey. And my wife had noticed that because I was watching it earlier, that she said when the ladies were in there cooking and Christine's pulling out a whole turkey that she made from scratch or whatever, and Mary's in there doing something, Janelle's in there doing whatever Janelle doing. She's like, I pay the bills. And I pay my bills. My bills is paid. And she said that Robin was standing there. All she did was open up a jar, sit it down, and she just walked around the kitchen. And
Relish tray, yeah.
yeah, right. And I figured, yeah, right. That's my shoe. And I figured that like when push him down and shove, she said that I didn't want to stop asserting myself. Well, I figured that she looked at it and she said, well, I could assert myself in the kitchen, but why stop in the kitchen when I could have the house? And that's what she did. She took the houses.
Yep. Did you two catch around this time in the episode, we're now in episode 8, that Janelle reveals in confessional she has been labeled lazy by somebody in the family?
Oh, that was some shade towards Mary, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That was
It's the
Mary.
same thing. I was like, that's
Yeah.
Mary.
Totally. And I was like, oh shit. Like when she said that. Because
What are we doing?
it was the 5 of them on the couch, and I was like getting my popcorn ready because I'm like, how's Mary gonna react?
Yeah. That's when wigs get lost. Like that's what happened. Like, oh, let me put my sneakers on because I see now we gonna have to do some work. Got my work boots in
Just
the truck.
these little clues are there.
Totally.
Right.
Totally. Yeah, I caught that too. That was so funny. I was like,
Well, because that's actually one of the things they talked about with like in that Becoming Sister Wives book is that that's part of the whole reason why they kind of separated and decided they need to have their own kitchens, because apparently Mary was super specific about how the kitchen was being like how the kitchen was cleaned and in what order they put the shelves of the cabinets in and how they put the food away. So yeah, I think she was like, it was definitely a shot towards Mary, because I didn't really hear that Christine was having that much of a problem, because she even came out and said, I really enjoyed cooking with everybody and us all working together in the kitchen. And then Mary kind of rolled her eyes. And Cody said, yeah, we need a bigger kitchen. Like, yeah, you need a lot of things. So.
yeah.
Yeah, Mary also was like vehemently defending Christine about the two, like, because initially Robin says, oh, it was Mary and Christine's kitchen. I felt like I was in their kitchen. And Mary, I thought, kind of defended that. So I think Mary is like, yeah, it's my kitchen. I will run it the way I want, even against Robin.
Right.
I feel like the one thing I appreciate about Mary is Mary's always been very open about her particularness. Is that a word? Particularity? I don't know.
Yeah.
Help me out here, chat. Don't judge my lack of grammar. She's been pretty transparent. Like probably because like if she tried to put on a front, nobody would like defend her on it. So she's like, yeah, I like things a certain way. Lizzie says eccentricity, peculiarity. That's a hard word. Wow.
It's a word.
Particularness.
Oh, there. Yeah, I think that's a word. Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes you just don't know until you're like playing words with friends and you're like, sweet.
Right.
It's a word.
Some people would refer to it as persnickety.
Yes. Yes.
Shadow Ratter.
Somehow that's easier to say too, persnickety.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some people call it that. Some other people just call it an asshole. Like,
Oh.
tomato. It's just kind of whatever floats your boat.
Somebody in the chat was saying this earlier. Mary is totally the funnest one in these episodes and in other episodes sometimes. She really brings the party to this like snow sledding thing. I mean, she almost kills herself, but like she does it with fun.
I think she also I know that like certain kids have a problem with Mary, but she also seems to genuinely like be about like the kids. And and on the other hand, she also expects good behavior out of the kids, because I know we ultimately see her disciplining the kids. I think she expected to be able to mother all of the kids like she would Leon,
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Agreed. Okay, so it's Christmas Eve. Speaking of Mary, we get a fashion show from all the pajamas she made. I think we've already said this before, but watching this back, knowing, Sarah, you brought it up about, because in the morning we're going to just go right into them doing their gift exchange and opening those presents. It is really different watching this, knowing there's going to be drama that comes up in the future from the sibling gift exchange. Yeah. It's really different watching this, knowing that like, really what's happening is like these Robin coming into the family, maybe not necessarily, even if you don't blame Robin personally, but these traditions really are like, we're watching them about to get pushed to the back. Mm-hmm. And so it is interesting watching this episode, because even though they're in this just ungodly small cabin and they're all sick as dogs. We haven't even talked about that. Like they were all sick, getting each other sick. Gross.
COVID is going around and it hadn't even been invented yet. Yeah. But everyone's
just like a petri dish of polygamists. Like, but even in the midst of that, they do seem to have like a loving Christmas celebration. And I do love the little things like the gift exchange with the siblings and the PJs. I really think Mary, that's cool that she did that,
And that's the things too that kids take with them and remember, like they don't remember the like, I don't know, Claire's necklace that so-and-so got them one year, but they remember like my, oh, I remember the year I had Aurora and I got, I spent so much time finding the perfect blah, blah, blah for her. Like, and so it's really sad the way things ended up.
Right. Well, I mean, I think that's one of the dangers, like, because I know we're hesitant about blaming Robin for a lot of the loss of what we call the Brown family culture. But I think that there is a point where we can look at it and say, in order for you to, this is what they all kind of signed up for. I'll say it that way. This is what they signed up for, because when you do polygamy, every time you add a new wife, and more importantly, you add additional personalities to your family, it creates a fundamental foundational change in the way your family operates. You can't expect them to assimilate into your family. What they're going to do is they're going to come in. Some things are going to stay, some things are going to go. And whatever happens is going to be a different experience altogether. And I think that was part of the exchange. It's sad to say that part of the loss is the fact that Robin came into the family and she would take that as a blame, like as me blaming her. But the truth of the matter is, if she came into the family and that's not something she supported, wanted to do, then they were going to lose it anyway. Mm-hmm. And so like, I do think that it's a shame, because this is actually, when you talk about like later in season, was it, I want to say it's season 18, when she was talking about, it's about the gifts and the things don't mean anything. It's about the love and those stuff don't care. And the house and having a rental property, it doesn't matter.
Well, it's like it's a cheap version or something like that, or whatever she says. Yeah.
It's just a cheap version.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome.
That line made me angry.
She got the Emmy for that one. But that's what she's talking about. You're talking about, the ironic part is, you're not talking about what they did, because you saw that like kind of a reemergence of that experience at Christine and Janelle's rental property that you didn't see at Robin's house. But if anything, it was just a reemergence or reimagining or revisiting of what they used to have when they, like you said, in this particular episode, when you saw the family coming together and just simply enjoying each other's company.
That's a good point about how it seemed a little flat when they tried to create things at Robbins, but they were able to recreate a lot of those dynamics when it was Christine and Janelle's family together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it wasn't her. Yeah, that's what it came down to. Like if you try to recreate something and you can't even come close, it's not you. And I think that's what Robin, that if anything, that should have hurt her feelings more than anything else. Because Christine was able to recreate it because it was Christine, her kids, Janelle, her kids. That was the family who was enjoying each other for Christmas. And at Robin's house, even though you had nice stuff, each one of the kids each had brand new mopeds and they had expensive gifts, but you guys were still sad and mad that these people were over there exchanging damn, Aqua Velva cologne and shit, but still having a great time with each other. And I think that goes to a lot to what Sarah was saying and what I even hold out, that the material stuff doesn't matter as much as the person who's giving it to you and the time you're spending with the person you care about. Yeah. And that's why I think they enjoyed themselves more.
Mm-hmm. Yep. During a couch confessional, Christine starts talking about the move, and she says, if we move, because Christine has given Mykelti a cell phone for Christmas, and we watch Mykelti open this up, and I'm like, oh my God, what year is this? This is like it's from the 80s. What is this?
Yeah, right. Let me get my flip phone out.
Like Zach Morris. On the bell.
I haven't seen a phone like that in forever.
Isn't it crazy how much technology has progressed in like not that long of a time, in like the last 10 years, really? Yeah.
Yep. So she's talking about this. Christine says, if we move, I want Mykelti to be able to have a phone to talk to her friends. And Cody sort of takes his time and he turns to Christine and he says, in my opinion, condescendingly, are you still confused about us moving?
Yes. Why is he such a dick?
Yeah,
I think he despises Christine.
Yes.
Like, do you not understand the police are looking for us? That's awesome. Asshole. But I think that he's trying to ham it up, but I think that the move was something that, like, because Christine kind of hit on it earlier when she said that, is this something we have to do, or are you just anxious to move somewhere else? Because again, like, when they were reforming a family, I think that he's trying to move somewhere else because he's trying to incorporate Robin into the family, and he doesn't want to incorporate her into the old life. He wants to create a new life with her. And so he wants to create that new memory.
All of the kids seem heartbroken by the prospect of this move. Mary and Janelle don't seem particularly thrilled, but Christine seems to be standing up for like the kids, is how I'm taking it. And I think Cody knows that she's right, that this really sucks for everyone involved. And probably the threat of the investigation isn't all that good of a reason to be doing this to their kids.
Mm-hmm. Well, it might not have been as salient as they try to pretend. Like, because I still hold out. If the police are coming, I've said it a million times, and I'll say it 1,000,001. If the police are coming for you because they have a warrant, you moving is not going to stop the freaking warrant. They still have a warrant for your arrest. You're going to jail. Okay.
And Mary is Karening. We know she is. She's calling 311. She's
right.
There warrant yet?
She wants to speak to the lieutenant manager, and she wants to find out and figure out what's going on.
Right. If they coming, they coming. So you moving isn't solving anything. If anything, you might aggravate them, because now you seem like you're trying to you're flouting the law to start. So you're on, like the guy said, you're on TV committing felonies and proud that you're committing felonies, are basically giving us all the finger. And then when we say that we're investigating you and looking into you, you're going to pack your bags and pretend to move to Las Vegas. Just because you stop committing a crime today doesn't mean they can't prosecute you for the crime you were committing yesterday and the day before. Like, that's not how this shit. That's not how our legal system works. Like, you're
That's
going
why
to jail.
Roman Polanski has to stay out the country.
That's a good point. You know, I just assume that like because some crimes have a statute of limitations. I mean, obviously this would have been he's like it would have been super recent because they would have just moved. So, you know, whatever the statute was didn't matter. But yeah, I honestly have never really thought about how like this is even more stupid than I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing about having like their own lawyer in the Browns Out of High, whatever the first episode of season 2 was, say they're not prosecuting polygamists unless you're also taking child brides and doing stuff like that, committing fraud, like tax fraud and stuff, which I know some of their finances are kind of murky and whatever, but like Cody's not off marrying a 14-year-old. Like, they're not gonna really get down on him for that. They're not gonna break up the family, which is what all these kids, Logan feeling like he has to tie up loose ends because, you know, Savannah has parent-teacher conferences next week, and like he's worried the family's gonna get torn apart.
Yeah, there's been a debate for a while I've seen online, and I think I've asked y'all this before about like, okay, was this move just for a storyline on the show, secure season 3? But there's also a debate to me of, are they like purposefully scaring the kids for the storyline?
Yeah.
To get the tears in the confessional, which is real sick.
Trauma. Like, this is messed up.
Yeah,
this and the adoption storyline, I'm like, in retrospect, I'm like, I feel like if these played out in current times, us as like a fan base would have been so much more vocal. There is a little bit of this perception of like the time at which this aired, it was kind of just like a different era, but it was extremely messed up.
Right. Yeah, well, because I think that this is one of those things that, like, barring the timeline, I think that if you look at it, this is abusive. Because even if this was the case, like, you're weighing your kids down with something that they have no power over, and you're making them feel helpless concerning something that they like. What was Logan going to do? I mean, this dude isn't Matlock or Perry Mason or somebody. It's not like Cody was going to get arrested and he was going to fly in with bail money, you know what I mean, or a file or something. Like, Cody's ass just would have been in jail. That's what would have happened, and the rest of the family would have to deal with it. They would have to deal with the fallout. So just unnecessarily involving your children in adult business doesn't make sense to me. I mean, you could give them like kind of a heads up, like, we have concerns, guys, that, you know, things might be going different and we might have to move because of some things that are happening. But I wouldn't have saddled them with, you know, if they do take us, they're going to break the family up, just so you know. You know, like, they don't need to know that shit. It's like if you can't pay your mortgage, you sitting down with your kids around the table like, you know, your daddy lost his job and we can't afford the mortgage now and we're going to be living in a box. So make sure you don't throw nothing away. Like, that shit is unnecessary. It's unnecessary. Because it's not like your kid's going to go out and get a job at the 7-Eleven and figure it out.
It's giving James from Vanderpump Rules parents right now.
Yes.
Yeah, because when I'm thinking about it logistically, because I actually have a background. I worked with in college. I did some like social work and internships, and in general, and it varies state by state. But in my mind, they're not. If Cody goes to jail, they're not going to take the kids away from the moms, because the kids need to stay with the moms, because they're not like chalk up. What were you going to say, Sarah?
Well, so very specifically though, for there were a couple raids on Mormon polygamous compounds. There was one in the 50s. I think it was called like Short Creek or something. And then there was the Warren Jeffs raid in 2008. And they did take the kids and put them on a bus, and they took them away from the moms because the moms weren't going to leave the community.
Got it.
It was so, there's so much.
There was
But that's a little
essay
different.
going on,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
So there's like a whole conversation to be had about like the government overreach in these situations that led to like Ruby Ridge and Waco and stuff, like maybe good intentions going terribly, terribly awry when like you just lay the hammer down as opposed to like trying to mitigate the circumstance.
but they were like having child brides, right? Like this is not
Right.
in
anything close
the
to the
Warren
Browns.
Jeffs situation, Warren Jeffs was like impregnating 13-year-olds or 12-year-olds. Like, the government absolutely had an interest in getting the kids out of that situation. But on the flip side, you were ripping children away from their mother. So it's a very nuanced situation. But that is what Christine is operating on the assumption, because Christine lived through that kind of, sort of, because
Well,
I
she
think
heard the story about her grandparents.
Right, exactly. And I don't know if her grandparents were involved in the Short Creek raid. That was a pretty like news making raid that happened in, I think it was like the 50s. And the Child Bride of Short Creek, movie with Diane Lane. Okay. It was, the situation was very nuanced, but the Mormon fundamental polygamists taught these kids to be scared of being ripped apart from their family. Like, someone finds out, this is what's going to happen. And they pointed to like the 2 cases in history where that happened. Meanwhile, there's thousands of polygamists just living their lives. Nothing's happening, but like this happened. And so that will happen to you if you tell someone.
Right. But that becomes I think that's more in the realm of an irrational fear, because in those particular cases, there were felonies that were occurring, which directly impacted the safety and security of the children, which would have, if you're a monogamous, forget polygamy. If you're a monogamous and you are actively involved with, you could be messing around, have pictures in your computer at home, and you have a raid at your house. And if they find anything involving minors in those photographs that's inappropriate, you will lose custody of your children. Full stop. The government will step in and take your kids. And you will have, if you have any contact with those children, it'll be extremely limited. And in most cases, you will have zero contact with those kids. And in the case of like the Warren Jeff situation, because the wives were agreeing with Warren Jeff and refused to take their kids out of an unsafe environment, they lost custody of their children. So that, like, the whole like we're victims because we're polygamists, it really doesn't hold a lot of water. Like, you're associating yourself, if that, from that perspective, you would be associating yourself with something that you have nothing to do with. And you aren't in that same bucket. Like, I'm not a millionaire, so I don't have to worry about, embezzling $10 million from my family or whatever. Like, it's just not something I have to worry about. If Warren Jeffs did it.
Part of Cody's whole shtick in this beginning is to separate himself from Warren Jeffs and the FLDS. Right. They're not, this is a different kind of fundamental polygamy, when really there are so many more parallels and similarities. They revealed that they courted a minor in their book. That was a failed courtship. Benjamin, Cody's nephew, was just talking about the fact that, in the first episode, Mary says, oh, getting married at 19 or 20 isn't uncommon. And Ben is like, 19 or 20, like, you better be married by 19 or 20. How about it's not uncommon to be married by 17 or 18 or 16? Right. So that kind of
is legal in some areas, though. That's legal in some states. Yeah, I know. It's creepy as hell.
Yeah. But I'm watching a 15-year-old about to have a kid on Unexpected. So I mean, whatever.
Yeah, so am I. Yeah.
YOLO.
Yeah, so I'm watching that too. Yeah, sad times.
Shout out to us 45 minutes ago. Jessica in the chat says, just to clarify, I live in Utah, and that man was not a 10.
Justice for Utah.
That tree seller.
Thank you, Jessica, for standing up for Utonians. Utah.
I stand corrected. I'm just saying, like, I'm just trying to be as fair as possible. That's all.
Yeah.
It's not a shot,
What is it, chat, Jessica? Is it Utahns? Utonians? Utanians.
Right.
There's
Sounds
a
like a
peculiarity about Utonians. I'm just saying a bunch of words that aren't words.
Oh, they call it Utahns.
Okay. I do want to make note of this epic line. Maddie says, back to the teens confessional. Maddie says, they're all upset and it's really serious and sad. But then we do get this comedic line from Maddie where she says, we were going to be legends in this town.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did that, Maddie. Thank you so much. I can't handle Hunter crying, so I need something to. Yeah, we
can always count on Maddie for that.
Yeah.
James, did we ever discuss that moment you had said you thought we were going to go over?
Oh, with yeah, I think so. Okay. It was the I forget what it was, but I think we did cover it.
Okay. It's been a little while, but these 2 episodes are a little wild because it's just like 5 minutes of, oh, we have to move. The police are chasing us. And 5 minutes of, here's our Christmas traditions.
Right. Christmas.
Any other thoughts on these 2 episodes, you two?
I enjoyed them. I do enjoy these early mishmash. They don't even really feel like the editors don't even really know what story they're telling yet. So they're kind of like, these 2 things happened, Christmas and moving. Let's just put them together, even if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it has an innocence to it, right?
Yes. It's very green.
You know what? I will say that the one thing that I didn't like was because this is the first episode where we really started hearing about the whole idea of the patriarch within the family. Like Cody, he started down the road where he said that I get to make the decisions and who else should be making the decisions. And then he tried to shift it off and say that, oh, but I have these other women whose opinions I'm relying on. And then right after that, he turned right to Christine and basically told her, I don't give a shit what you think. We're going to move. So I think that there's that's where again, this is that part where more of the facade of what the actual existence and family life of polygamy would actually look like. Mm-hmm. And this, as Ben would say, this is supposed to be the liberal, forward-thinking uncle. So that says a lot about where they are. Like you're moving and uprooting these, because even with you're talking about Hunter. In Hunter's case, who is probably the most vocal about the impact of what's happening to him and at the time Leon were very vocal about how this move was going to affect them. They broke these children. They broke them. Like Hunter was broken, and it tore them apart when you moved them the way you did. Just because out of ego, I made a decision. And I don't give a damn what you think about it or how it's going to affect you, because this is what I want to do. And I think that was one of the things that, it really bothered me about how Cody approached it. Because if you have to move, it's something that you have to do. It's something you have to do. Parents make those kind of decisions all the time.
People grow up children of military personnel. So kids, there are kids out there that know what it's like to not have roots planted anywhere. Right. But this is so unnecessary and it seemed cruel.
Right. Well, and just the approach of it, the nature of it is cruel, but the fact that you don't sit your kids down and explain it to them and talk to them, aside from I'm scared because your daddy going to jail. You don't want your daddy to go to jail, do you? So we have
Right.
to ruin your life so that we can protect my life.
Exactly.
Right, kids? And that takes it to a realm where it becomes unnecessary cruelty.
Yes.
Like it's unnecessary for you to be that nasty to these kids,
And
or
that's
even
like
for Christine.
that's like quintessential like gaslighting, right? Like
Right.
you don't want your dad to go to jail, so you need to like be okay with like your world crumbling. Because
Yeah.
that's what was happening to these kids, especially like you said, Leon and Hunter were both, they had like, Leon was felt very safe in their school that they were at. And from what we know, Leon had a hard time in other schools. So you're just going to rip them out of a situation where they felt safe that and then Hunter had all these activities and Maddie was going to be a legend and
She was going to be a legend.
Right, we can be
Legendary.
legends in this town.
Come on. Speaking of Benjamin, I told you I wanted to talk about this. Benjamin is the one, he's been saying, and by the way, anybody watching, if you haven't checked out Sarah's interview with him, it's on your channel. Just maybe like search or just, it was like a month ago.
February. If
Okay.
you search like Reality Squad, Cody's nephew, it'll come up.
Yeah, check that out. I was seeing that he was like talking about when season 19 was going to be back on the air. Did y'all see that?
Yeah.
No,
he
I didn't
dropped
see it.
August.
Yep, August.
Yeah.
Which is like fairly broad, but it's something.
Right.
Which would coincide. So last season premiered in August. Season 17 premiered in September. So that tracks with how they've been doing the last couple seasons.
Right.
Okay.
Well, the one thing I will say, and I guess this has been my standing complaint since the end of season 18, TLC, if you knew that you were going to roll this damn season out in August or September, why did you make us sit there during our holidays and cramp so much content over 2 weeks' time over the holidays for us to go the entire summer and spring with zero content from you guys?
I know they should have done Christine's wedding special in like March, like end of February, March. But yeah, it was like over New Year's. It's like, okay,
right.
Sorry, can't go out to celebrate Christmas. I got sister wives.
Right. I got a sister lives to do. Like, what the shit? You're in a cult. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you're in a cult.
You know what? During the fall, I am in a cult. Okay.
We're all a little bit of a cult. The fan base.
It's all cultish.
A little bit.
Yeah, right. But that's the whole thing.
Ooh, I like that.
There you go. Nice. But they could have, because even with, I was hoping that if they would have did it that way, that they could have used the spring and summer to do a two-part season where they released the parts where they would catch us up. And then the next season in September, September, they roll out the new season and we're all caught up with all the, watching Christine date her new husband. I forget his name that fast. Ain't that a shame?
David.
David.
I don't blame you, James.
Right. McKelty could have had her children then, and we would have been all caught up. So we would have been raring to go in September, and we wouldn't have to do the whole thing where we're doing now, where we're kind of 2 years behind, 2 years behind on everything, which makes me feel like, I said this yesterday, that it makes me feel like I'm watching a prequel, and I'm not a big fan of prequel movies. Like, if I know what's going to happen, and I know that Darth Vader is going to be Darth Vader, okay? And I'm going to watch him before he's Darth Vader. Everything I see, I'm like, this dude is Darth Vader. So, like, I don't want to do that for the Sister Wives or for reality TV. I know that McKelty has twins. I don't need to watch her have twins on.
They're
TV.
about to be like 2.
Yeah. They'll be going to high school when they start airing her,
And then that's the thing too. So back in the day, and I've seen like these really valid criticisms online. So back in like 2010, when this, where we're at in the show, when we're recapping, the social media wasn't as pervasive. Maybe people had Facebook, but it wasn't like the cast members weren't updating us on their day-to-day lives.
Mm-hmm.
there are so many things they haven't even addressed on the show yet. They haven't addressed Leon's transition, except
Yeah.
for Christine briefly, fleetingly mentioning it when she was mentioning who got invitations to her wedding. She said, I invited Leon. That was the only acknowledgement. Last season, Leon was misgendered a couple times, and we gave grace to that because it was like, okay, well, at this point in the show, it hasn't happened. So there's a lot of life events that we know happen that aren't being addressed on the show. So
Right.
yeah, it's frustrating as an audience to be so far behind.
Right.
They need to catch up, and they're cheap and they want to squeeze every last drop. It's just, I couldn't agree more. I was tired of it last season, and they're just going to be even further behind.
Right. And I think that's a excellent point too, sir, with the with regard to, well, both Sarah and Amanda, but I think that like the idea that you can actually back yourself into an unnecessary controversy by doing that, by trying to squeeze it out, all of a sudden you find yourself in a situation where you're at war with a community because you're misgendering one of the people who are involved. And rightly or wrongly, it's happening. And we all know that they prefer to be called Leon, but you keep calling her Mariah, and you keep referring to her as a her and calling them by a dead name, calling them by their dead name. So you're backing your way into problems that are unnecessary for the show.
And of course, it was it just so happened to be Robin that misgendered Leon. And everybody's like up in arms about Robin not being accepting and stuff. And then it was like, okay, let's take it back.
Take
like
a step back.
People correctly pointed out, like at this point in their filming, Leon had not announced their transition. So like, oh, okay, all right, we're putting our pitchforks away for a minute.
Right.
But,
for now.
Yes, but you're exactly right. It's like the network is causing this disconnect.
Yeah, totally agree. They're putting themselves in a position, in not a good position, and we don't want it. We want to catch up. Come, like you said, the social media thing is, stop ignoring social media. Like these reality shows, they've got to acknowledge it exists.
Yeah, and a lot of viewers don't trust the commentary unless they see it confirmed on the show, right? So like they'll be like, "Oh, I heard about Leon like being talked about," but until I hear them talk, like until I hear the parents talk about it or Leon themselves talk about it, I don't know what to believe. Yeah. And there's so many things like that it's like, okay, well, if you don't address it on the show, a certain segment of viewers are just not going to believe it.
Yeah, that's true. I saw in the chat saying that season 19 has been officially announced, but I mean, we know that they're going to have a 19, but I don't see anything online about the date yet. Just a few articles about Benjamin talking about spoiling it. I don't know if.
Yeah, I don't see anything like official, but I was trying to remember. They announced in July, they announced season 18. So probably within the next couple weeks, we'll have an announcement.
That's a good, your memory is like so valuable, Sarah. like, dude, like, that's awesome. Good memory.
It's like with season 17, I noted in my brain how it was an odd choice to premiere a show on September 11th. For some reason, I just found that as like, okay, that's a choice.
Yeah, exactly. That's a choice. Probably the wrong one.
It's been like 20, however many years now, but like, I was like, okay.
Well, let's be honest. Like the people watching this know about September 11th. Okay,
you could have done the week before, the week after. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
right.
That is weird.
Yeah.
Do either of you have any more thoughts on the season 19 premiere or anything going on? I didn't mean to curb the discussion on what we want to see for season 19 earlier. Sarah mentioned, like, do we want to see more people added on? And I think James had said, like, I don't know. Like, I think I just want to see a good show, whatever it takes. Right. Don't bring me somebody I don't care about. If you're going to bring on somebody, Benjamin or whoever, make me care about him. I don't know
what,
how, but make
what
me.
I'm gonna say is if someone's gonna come on and spill some tea about the culture, I'm
Right.
all for that. Like, but if it's gonna be, oh, putting a pretty bow on like a shit sandwich, like, no, I'm not interested in
Right.
that.
Right. Well, I think that I will be as I think that a lot of both content creators and fans will be very hesitant to allow them to, do the whole polygamy propaganda thing again. Like, I
Mhm.
don't think that they're going to sit around and let them tell us how awesome. Excuse me.
Bless you. And you
Thank
guys,
you.
Amanda has hit her hour 30 mark, so she'll be back
Yeah,
in just a second.
she's going out, coming in.
Yeah.
But I think that we've reached that point where if they come in and they're going to reveal like something, you know what? All in all, Rubber wrote it. I think that if they come in, she's back. I think if they come in and they're being genuine people, then I'm open to it. If they're going to come in and they're basically going to do the money grab Cody Robin thing where they don't talk about anything, they try to isolate the fans, they try to create like this wall where they don't reveal anything about themselves, but they expect us to keep tuning in because they slapped the Sister Wives logo on it. I think they're going to lose a lot of people
Mhm.
because that's what's happening with Cody and Robin. Like, you guys only want to talk about Christine and what a shitty person she is and what a terrible sister wife she is, and now Janelle, what a terrible person she is because she's aligned with Christine. But then as soon as you say, well, what's going on with you and Robin, Cody? Oh, I'm not talking about her. What's happening with you and Cody, Robin? Oh, I don't discuss Cody because it makes me sad. I need the sister wives to come and kiss my ass some more. Like, it's just, I'm past that portion of it. I
Mhm.
get that people were upset, people were mad, people were in their feelings, but I really don't have any genuine interest in watching or revamping them talking about 3 seasons ago.
Yeah.
Like, that's just my take.
The greatest crime in reality TV is to be boring. And
Right.
you are so right, James. I am so just tired of them they're just gonna crap on the OGs. That's it. I'm tired. Show
Right.
me something different.
Mhm.
Right. Like, I know you don't like them. Okay. That's why you're not together. Surprise. Like, nobody is it's not breaking news that you guys
Right.
don't like each other.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of people running around that are in love with their exes. I mean, we're gonna have Christmas dinner together. No, not unless I can poison the turkey. Like,
All right. Any other thoughts, you two?
No.
no.
Okay, I think we can wrap it up with that. For me, go ahead, James.
Oh, just want to give a quick shout out to the mods for
Yes.
helping us out. I don't know. I didn't mean to step on any toes. I just wanted to make sure I got it out. I have Rochelle J and Lizzie B holding it down for me on my fronts. So
I have
thank you,
I
ladies.
think Kendra. I saw a couple.
Oh, hey, Lizzie B coming in with the super.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
Lizzie. Sorry, I didn't mean to disrupt you, Sarah.
No, I noted. Usually Starcasm. I'm not sure. She might have been
Yeah.
busy tonight. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, that's okay. Shout out to Sarcasm, anyways.
yeah,
What an
she's
awesome person. Yeah,
she
thank
pulls,
you.
like triple duty too.
Yeah, I know. She
Yeah,
always logs in
she's
laundry. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lizzie. Lizzie says, I'd like to see an episode with Christine's aunt. I assume the one we've already seen in
Oh yeah.
season, I don't know, 4, 5, 6. I
5,
can't remember.
think. Yeah, 5 or 6.
Lizzie says, I'd like to see an episode with Christine's aunt talking about what happened in the past. Sorry, you can tell I'm from Oklahoma because I don't say aunt. My wife gives me crap about that. This is such a disjointed me reading of the comment. Lizzie says, I'd like to see an episode with Christine's aunt talking about what happened in the past, their thoughts on polygamy now, and a possible reconciliation. I would like that too.
I would
Yeah.
I would like that as well.
I would like to see Christine's aunt and Christine's mom sit there and have a conversation about their thoughts on polygamy, because I think that their thoughts would actually align very closely to each other.
Mhm.
And I like to pull Christine in to give that, yeah, I took that position when I was younger, but now that I'm a little older, a little wiser, and I'm happily married to a man who is all mine, I've changed my position. Like that's what I want to see.
Yeah, y'all, they just
But
need
I
to
agree with
hire
you.
us because I was like, that's an episode of the show.
Yeah.
Get
Right.
these three women together, have them, you know, do either an activity or go out to eat or one of their houses or something, you know, maybe not the house. We've seen a lot of houses, but
Bravo.
yeah. Somebody
Yeah,
in the
right.
chat earlier was like, let's all order salsa brava.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be a great idea, James. They need to hire you.
Mhm.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, I just something like I want to see something other than them sitting there complaining about one another. Like you got to start putting more meat back on the bone. Like you got to refresh the palate a little bit because we're reaching that point with Sister Wives where it's becoming a little more stale because you know what to expect. And you even see that with some of the other reality shows. Like my wife was a big fan of like the Housewives, Real Housewives.
Mhm.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
she watched
they're
a
all
lot of that.
struggling.
Yeah, and they were all basically like after a while, like I'll walk into the room and I'm like, this is basically because I hear the arguments. And I'm like, weren't they arguing about the same shit like 3 episodes or 3 seasons ago? Like,
Mhm.
you know, some of them been on the show for like 5-10 years and they're still having the same discussions. Like, you haven't got figured this out yet. Like, you still mad at your brother because, you know, something that happened with your pop. Your dad ain't even around no more. Like, what are you arguing about? Stop it.
Mhm.
So I want to see them move past that. Plus, with Christine and Janelle, Cody and Robin, their kids are pretty much grown at this point. So they
Yeah.
don't even really have to come in contact with each other. So anything that they do is going to be forced. And I think that that's going to come off as fake and insecure, well, inauthentic, because, you know, truly, you know, it's lovely. I watched the little girl grow up, but she's a young lady now. And
Yeah.
so if she wants to see her dad, yeah, she's 14, 15 years old. If she wants to see her dad can go pick her up and he doesn't ever have to talk to Christine ever again. Like
Right.
you said, I don't want to talk to her again. You don't have to, sucker. Just make sure you here at 7 because she'll be waiting for you. You know, don't come in my house. You know, like
Yep.
Yeah. Well, let's just hope that we magically get a awesome product. I mean, it doesn't
Right,
matter.
right.
They've had 19 in the can for like 12 years now. So,
Yeah.
well,
they're dusting it all.
yeah, right. They're just like, all right, here, season 19. We filmed this in 1997.
Right,
It's as old as McKelty's cell phone.
Yeah.
right.
Let's do this one last super. Thank you again, Lizzie B. Lizzie says, and please, TLC, do a tell-all with all the cast, or at least the OG3. Heck, bring Mary's friend too. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Remind me of Mary's friend name again. I'm blanking.
Jen.
Jen,
Yeah.
Just Jen.
Just Jen. Yeah, get Jen on there. That would be great. Yeah. Get them
Mhm.
all together.
Yeah.
Force them in the same room.
I
That-
want to see Jen and Robin. in the same
Yes.
room. That's what I want to see. 'Cause
Yes.
I think that because Jen doesn't really, she doesn't. Jen doesn't really play the whole I'm going to baby talk and baby walk around Robin. So
No.
like she's going to huff and puff and blow Robin's little house down. So I
Yep.
think that would be an interesting episode.
Yep, I would. All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming and watching and supporting us in our
Right.
our rewatch. It is nice having the 2 episodes to talk about.
Yes.
The 2 short episodes.
Yes.
So we'll be back on Monday, same time,
Mhm.
7 Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. And everybody have a great week. And make sure you check out Sarah and James' channel. Y'all have something coming up video wise.
Yeah, I'm going to be talking more about what Ben has been talking about on his TikTok tomorrow. And you guys, Amanda, your last video was so hilarious.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will be dropping some videos this week. I have to roll out a whole bunch because I've been slacking.
Oh, hey, I feel you. I was like afraid to look at my comments for about 2 weeks. So
Right.
I was like,
How are you?
"Oh, I'm sorry,
Are
everyone.
you okay?
Right? We did just get one last super. Thank you so much,
thank
Erica
you.
MF. Jerry. If they are all in the room. I don't get this. Somebody explain
Oh,
this
I
to
think
me.
for Jerry Springer, like Jerry.
Oh, Jerry.
Yeah.
Jerry. Throwback. Yes,
Watch
that would
that
be
with
entertaining.
Grandma Girl.
I would like it.
Yes. Love it. All right, everyone, have a great night. And
Awesome.
we will see you in our next respective videos, as I have stolen from Sarah. That's like cool how you say that. All right, see y'all.
All right.